Part 1, I sailed my Proa 60 nautical miles to the DCNZ dinghy cruising raid. I had a great time, but then I had to sail back. I had some calm weather and some wild weather. You need to go cruising to learn cruising things, and I certainly did on this trip. I still had a lot of work to do on the catamaran back at Whangarei, so it was time to get going. The weather forecast wasn't really that great, so my plan was to sail around to Uncle Chris's place, stay there the night, and then continue the next day where it looked kind of promising. The wind seemed favourable on the beach, but actually getting out of the bay took a long time because every gust was coming from the wrong direction. But after a bit of shunting back and forth and some paddling, I eventually got out of there. It's been quite difficult to get out of the harbour. Looks like I might find wind. Then I had another downwind run. And then a beat up into the bay. And that was the first day. Pretty easy. Just departing Aborting Bay. There's my uncle there. So we get, this is the test, we've got a few hours. Hopefully it's forecast to go east today, but right now we've got south, so if we can get around potentially up there, it's going to be a fair wind the whole way, and might even be able to make it to Whangarei Harbour this evening. It looked like the wind was going to pick up and it'd be worth getting into the dry suit. The wind is starting to turn east. Hopefully we can get through. Hopefully we can get through the channel in one tack. But when the gusts come, it comes over a little bit more. I'm on the other tack now. It looks like we're beating out. Might take some time, but if we can get past Cape Rodney today, and that's good enough. It was meant to be good wind today, but it died away and I ended up paddling. Paddling for quite a ways. Been paddling for ages. That's the last rock to go past, and then I can bear off. Eventually a little bit of wind came in. I could stop paddling at least. Been having a nap, but it looks like there might be some actual wind coming. The wind did come, but from the wrong direction, and then I saw a nice looking beach to camp on. Getting ready for surf landing number 2. It's not going to be big surf, but I think it's going to be bigger than last time. Was actually pretty much nothing, but landing is the easy part. And a relaxing day on the beach. That was day 2. It's morning. Fortunately it's raining. Hopefully, I'm hoping it's going to stop soon. Okay, getting ready to before we get off the beach. Towed the boat down over there because there was a rock that was poking out of the surf here. Okay, let's do it. The waves had picked up overnight, and as well as the rain, it was actually quite a rocky beach, and the wind was directly on shore. The wind wasn't strong enough to really sail fast, and that meant that the oar didn't give me much control either. The waves kept pushing me to the side, back onto the beach. I saw a rock ahead of me, and instead of risking damaging the boat, I released the sail and let the waves push me back onto the beach. I tried getting off the beach twice and then decided today wasn't the day. Okay, I've decided that it's not the right conditions to do this. But other things I need to do, basically I think it's better to get off like with an offshore breeze. It would probably be better. I had been quite interested in the problem of surf landing. This trip has taught me a little bit about that. Basically taught me that there's a lot I don't know, but that's more than I knew before. So in that way it's been a success. It's a shame to cut the trip short, but so I left the boat there and hiked out to the road. I'd hitchhike to Warkworth and then catch the bus to Whangarei. Well, I could have come here and come up into pulled the Proa into the stream here and then pitched the tent on the Proa, and that would have been totally legitimate because I'm not camping, I'm boating. I'm in Warkworth already. Actually, hitchhiking went really well despite me standing on the side of the road looking like a drowned rat. Less than 5 cars passed me before one stopped. Look at that, I'm out of the rain already. There's a bus to Whangarei from here at 2 o'clock. And so that was day 3. About a month later, I came back to get the Proa. Okay, I'm going to hitchhike down to Lee. Great progress so far. We're already in Warkworth. Had a real interesting ride. I was also on the boatyard, same boatyard recently. This section of road doesn't let the cars stop, so it's not very good for hitchhiking. We're here, now I just need to hike around the rocks. This hitchhiking was like way faster than the bus would have been. Okay, come to a slightly tricky spot. It's always nice to return from being away and to find your boat just as you left it. Decided to take my time and go tomorrow. I have plenty of time between now and then just watching the waves. There's some big waves, but then in between the big waves there's little waves, and I think I've got to get through those. Seeing these waves on the video now feels a bit embarrassing that these tiny waves were giving me so much trouble. If you see the waves forming further out, then it's obviously going to be a bigger one. I was getting a little bit worried about the mast because it had started to crack before I left, but you know, I'd been sailing with it and it had been cracking, but it hadn't broken yet. But now it's been sitting on the beach unattended for a month, and I'm not sure if the cracks are worse or not. Feel like they might be, so I'm gonna do a strength test I figured that if the mast could take my body weight and compression without bending noticeably, then it would be fine. So I already had some dry food, but I'd sort of forgotten what I had. Actually had very much pasta left. I bulked it out with oats, which sounds terrible, but it's actually pretty good. Maybe a handful or two of pasta, a handful of oats. I started with half seawater, but that was too much, so maybe it's a third seawater, a little bit on the salty side, and cheese. Pretty sure this is the sort of shit my Scottish ancestors would have eaten if they had macaroni cheese gruel. So back at the boat and ready to go. That was day 4. The wave says eased overnight, so it'll be no problem at all getting out. There's still bigger waves, and I've developed a new technique that I think I'll use, which is just like there's the, about to break waves, but then you look back to the more, wet waves forming, and if you can see clearly defined waves, they're going to be big, and if you can't see much, then they're going to be small. So you just have to look like 3 or 4 waves into the future. Okay, we're ready to go. Now that I had my wave reading technique figured out, getting off the beach was no problem at all. We're on our way. About past Cape Rodney. Visibility not super great, but I can faintly make out Taranga Island there, and I know exactly where I'm going. Let's go into that bit there. I had a dolphin visit, which is always a good omen. And once I got properly past Cape Rodney, I got some good speed going as well. Probably as fast as I've ever gone, and this is fully laden with camping gear as well. The forecast had shown like 20 knots plus like for a little bit in the morning, but it didn't seem to ease off, and after a while of doing the we'll just sail faster, don't reef, just sail faster, I decided maybe it was time to reef. It's quite difficult to film sailing, and unfortunately I had mounted my camera stick a bit too low and it would get hit by the water, so I had to occasionally bend it back up with the paddle. Quite a hazardous manoeuvre. By the way, if anyone knows how to prevent the main sheet from twisting like that, I would love to know. Please post a comment. It's a bit of a problem because it prevents the sheet from being released as quickly, and that feels like it could cause a capsize. Although I've never capsized this boat from too much wind, even sailing it in extreme conditions like this, which is a big part of what gives me the confidence to undertake trips like this. Yeah, so if you watch all my other older videos, you see I've actually taken quite a while to develop this boat and to build up my confidence in sailing it, and now it's like not scary to do what I'm doing right now, but it certainly would have been in the early days. Anyway, so I think this is actually about the time where I decided, yeah, I think it is actually time to put a reef in. As fun as holding on really tight and going super fast is. Oh, yep. That's a bit much. So I've never actually needed to reef this sail before, but I had designed reefing into it, which basically meant lowering it and then tying the boom back up to the sail, making it smaller into about a 6 metre crab claw. 6 metre sail is the size that I originally started with. It was pretty good, and it's also the size I was using on my strong wind advisory video, where it's like took it out in really crazy conditions and held on. It was exciting, but it worked. Yeah, so it was pretty windy, clearly too windy to even hear what I'm saying. It took a while to put the reef in, but then the boat was back under control and not going too fast, but still going fast enough to be exciting. Later the wind picked up even more, but by that point my camera had ran out of batteries, so this was the best we get. Still pretty exciting footage though, I think. And here's a blurry, shaky shot of what the sail looks like when it's reefed. Sailed 33 miles in 5 hours and 20 minutes, an average of 6.2 knots. Pretty good considering that I also stopped to reef and so on, so that would have pulled down the speed a bit, so getting over 6 knots as an average is pretty good. I took a rest on the beach to have some food, dry a few things out and wait for the tide to turn. It had been a good trip, and only the easy bits do now, but even easier if I wait until the wind dies down just a little bit. Which it soon did, and I was on my way again. Okay, I decided it's good enough to go. Tide's still a little bit against me, but it's an ape tide and the strongest tide's over. I decided I didn't really need to shake the reef out. I still had a good wind direction and made it the rest of the way home on one tack. Compared to what I'd been doing all afternoon, this was just easy, pleasant sailing, smooth sailing even. Although I did get a few bits of quite good speed. It was just relaxing to be sailing faster in flat water, not getting splashed by massive waves hitting the armour. Although one exciting mishap was running aground. But that's not really a big problem. I just released the lee board and jibed back around. My rigging means that the mast doesn't fall over, so I just sort of use a bit of the oar, turn the boat back, back around 360 degrees, and then I'm on the right direction again. I am just pushing my weight back a little bit and adjusting the mast to windward slightly to turn a little bit more downwind. It also requires releasing the sail temporarily. So now it's past Aborting and then sailed up the Hartiel River, where I had my boat anchored. I was home. So thanks everyone for watching all the way to the end. Hope you enjoyed my little adventure as much as I did. please post a comment. That encourages me to make more videos a lot. And yeah, I'm just about actually finished fixing the catamaran, so that's about to go back in the water this week.